Welcome to the cold, hard truth on sports. I apologize in advance if I am out of line here.
Brace yourselves, boys. We're going in.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you are doing?
I can't believe you.
I'm not reading. I'm just looking at the picture. Welcome to the cold, hard truth on sports.
Welcome all to another week here of the Cold Hard Truth on Sports. I am your host, Matthew Long. This is our annual NFL Draft Special. Right now, the Cleveland Browns are on the clock with the first overall pick. 5 minutes and 32 seconds left. It's been a lot of conversation going on. What are the Browns going to do with this pick? And you're going to hear NFL Network a little bit in the background there. It's been kind of a question because they have the first overall pick. They have the fourth overall pick. They haven't found a quarterback that has been serviceable through the draft or not in quite some time. The dog pound is hungry, and they want to see something happen. I think Dorsey was a great choice as bringing him. He's been in running scouting departments and finding talent, like Aaron Rodgers at quarterback for quite some time, and Russell Wilson, another guy. He scouted. They didn't have interest. That wasn't under Carroll, was it? No, he had already went back. Yeah. He doesn't get credit for him. But still, I mean, he's had quite a bit of foresight when it comes to picking players. And some guys have a knack for picking players. Some don't. So, I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do. They still have they're just shy of 4 minutes on the clock. So once their pick is in, I will let you know that their pick is in. Okay, so I am reaching out. We have a few guests, few people that will be coming on the show tonight. And Derek Helling, he's our business and law contributor. He is actually going to be our live correspondent tonight from Dallas, from the NFL Draft. He will be there tonight, representing the Cold Hard Truth on Sports, along with a couple other publications. So we'll have him on here shortly. All right, so I'm getting some people messaging in here still. I have Mike Brewer's final. Did that get up on the site? Did that get up? All right. Well, I got his final mock draft here. I will share with you momentarily. I know people have been really interested. I've heard a lot lately of Baker Mayfield going number 1 overall. And I do want to address this real quick to the Browns. They still got, looks like their pick is in. I don't think they're going to go Baker Mayfield. What I've said, again, I don't think he is him. I don't think this is the career he's going to have. But Baker Mayfield, the way he plays, reminds me of Brett Favre. His passion, the attitude he takes towards things, the way he moves, the way he throws, a lot of things he does reminds me of Brett Favre. I don't think his game is necessarily modeled after Brett Favre. Brett Favre was taller. Uh-oh. Shit. Just lost a fucking phone call. Ah.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio.
All right, so
please enter your host PIN. When finished, press
clearly,
the pound key.
live radio is something that. Bear with me here.
To start your show now, press 1.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
All right, we're back here. Baker Mayfield, first overall pick. I just get done saying I don't think he is, but the Browns go Baker Mayfield, first overall in the draft. Wow. Did not expect that. Again, I was just saying I don't see him going first overall, but again, what I said, he reminds me a lot in the way that he plays like Brett Favre. I know some people, it's not Brett Favre. He's not Brett Favre, but he reminds me a lot of him. And actually, one other person that actually has echoed that in the last few days has been Dorsey, who has experience with Brett Favre. His time with Holmgren in Green Bay. Yeah, and I'm kind of taken aback because I didn't see Baker Mayfield as the best overall quarterback. You know, we've been throwing out scenarios and stuff here, and as this thought comes in, let me bring on our business and law and contributor and tonight correspondent from Dallas, from the NFL Draft, Derek Helling. How are you doing tonight, Derek?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm taken aback right now. I thought that's just something they floated out, because with the media, when you talk to guys, front office guys, sometimes you can kind of feel like they tell you information and it's like you're stretching it, buddy. I felt like Mayfield going 1 was kind of stretching it. What's kind of what's your take from it? What are you seeing there in Dallas?
There's not a whole lot of surprise or anything. I think that the majority of the sentiment is probably pretty similar to what we're seeing pretty much everywhere else and online, is that it didn't matter who Cleveland takes with the first pick, that they're not going to have a good career, at least in Cleveland. So that's pretty much the sentiment as it seems to be here in Big D.
Now they're going to have, it kind of begs more Johnny Manziel comparisons. It's not fitting, but see, I mean, they just mentioned him right there, Manziel. So John Dorsey, he's ran a lot of good scouting departments in the NFL. The Seahawks, couple different stretches there with the Green Bay Packers. And we all know the Green Bay Packers have lived off of whatever talent they had to develop. And they've won a couple Super Bowls. So, obviously, he's good at what he's doing. I see Baker Mayfield clear as an NFL quarterback. And I do see the way he plays. I do see the similar comparisons the way that he plays, it reminds me of Brett Favre. I don't think he is that player. That's necessarily how he plays. But a lot of times there's just instances when he's playing, it reminds me of Brett Favre. John Dorsey said that a couple days ago, too. I don't think Jeff Garcia is a good comparison. I know that's what they have up here now. I don't think if I asked Jeff right now, he would necessarily agree. But we got the pick in for the New York Giants, and while we're waiting for that, Derek, let me bring on our NFL draft contributor, Michael Brewer. How you doing, Mike? And Saquon Barkley goes to the New York Giants, second overall pick. All right. Wow. All right, Mike, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. You getting some Sacramento reception? Is that?
Well, no, actually, I don't know. I passed out a little while and hit my head.
Oh.
When I saw that Baker Mayfield was the number one pick in his draft, I passed out. And I think I blacked out for a little bit there, so I just wanted to make sure.
Well, everybody in California, I think a lot of people in California that are gamblers lost tons of money because I think Vegas kind of had Sam Darnold as a lock at this point, it seemed like.
I ain't going to. I mean, I hit my mind, I guess, it's kind of surprising to me because, I was listening to, ESPN and all the, Fox Sports, all the pundits, everybody, they're comparing Baker Mayfield to Drew Brees and Russell Wilson, and, he shows a little bit of green on his side. My thing is, these people aren't talking about quarterbacks that went number one. Drew Brees was the second rounder and Russell Wilson was a third rounder. That means the odds of them becoming what they were.
Exactly.
Great.
Listen to the comps.
So basically, when you're comparing a guy to them, to me, that's kind of saying you're taking a chance with a team. I mean, it's not every day that you're going to find. I mean, and for the Cleveland Browns, it's like go out and get your guy. I'm not gonna be that mad at them for doing it. But my thing is get a safe pick, man. Get like I say, to me, like I said, it's the main question that I ask people, and I asked it. I brought up on your show a couple of months ago. What has Baker Mayfield shown people this season that people didn't see last season besides media exposure? Because last year there was no talk about him going from and I believe he had a statistically better year last year too. So last year there was no talk about him going number one in the draft.
Yeah, again,
he actually bypassed the draft for that, to come back to school.
But
now all of a sudden he's the number one pick.
Because people I've been talking to, league people, have been saying, we're saying that this week. I think Mayfield might go one. And it's just like, I'm like, come on, no. It's it was unbelievable. Not kind of, it was unbelievable. But you know what? Even going back to comps, I mean, like you said, comps. We look at the comps. We're looking at Breeze, second rounder. Russell Wilson, third rounder. Brett Favre. Even my comp, kind of, that reminds me. Again, another second rounder. I mean, Jeff Garcia. I think he was a second or third rounder too. So again,
I don't know. Garcia might have won undrafted.
Did he? Yes, he did, because he ended up going through the CFL, or he was
Canada.
Yeah, he went undrafted. That's right. So again, we're all comps. don't lead to first overall pick or first round pick. Again, a lot of stuff. Yeah. So reaction, Odell Beckham. Of course. I didn't think. I had Barkley kind of slotted for. That's where he went in my mock. See here. I have your mock up here. Do you have your mock up? I'll pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. Yours. It's not coming up. But
Yeah, I had Barkley going to number 2.
yeah, you had number 2. So. All right. So the Jets have about 3:20 left on the clock. Derek, what do you think of this? The pick, Saquon Barkley to the Giants.
Well, he's definitely very talented and player that you can run an offense through. I think that his play at Penn State definitely proved that. And as has already been said, you don't get a whole lot of chances at players like that, especially that are going to be as cheap as Saquon Barkley is to start off his career with the rookie salary cap in place. And if he can reach his potential, they're going to have him for up to 5 seasons, because first-round players, they come with a team option for a 5th year in their contracts. So I think it's a solid pick.
Yeah, and he's I know some people have kind of doubted him, kind of looked down on him in the media and elsewhere, just looking at saying just simply that, he do his best work when it counted the most. And from all that I see, again, there's a lot of times where they were ahead and he wasn't in, or they were coming from behind and they were having to throw a lot. So, again, because the primary focus is to win football games, because we're talking about a Penn State team that was, for the most part of the season, in the talks or in the runnings for Sam Darnold is going across town not across town, to Jersey. They're both going to Jersey. Sam Darnold is drafted by the New York Jets. So, Jets, you finally have a quarterback. The first quarterback you've had since Mark Sanchez, Kelly Mike's favorite quarterback ever. So, it's a good pick. Again, a guy that everybody, I think, out on the West Coast thought, and most people thought, was going to go first overall. Interesting pick. Let me bring in, we have David in Atlanta on the line, too. Let me bring David on. How are you doing tonight, David?
What's going on, man?
How's it going? What's your reaction so far? The first 3 picks here in the draft.
Yeah, I was telling somebody, you see why the Browns lose to like 12 games every year. You just got to just sit back and observe what they do, and it all essentially explains itself.
Again, if they take Mayfield in the second round, it's not an issue that they get him. But him going first overall is kind of overplaying the hand. That's what it is.
Yeah, and the amount of money they're going to be on the hook for this guy, because it's going to be guaranteed money, him being the number 1 overall pick. It's just, I don't get it. But like I said, when you look at teams like the Browns, especially like the Jets, it's the reason why they top 3, top 5 every year in the draft. Just look at how they operate their franchise.
Yeah, and in my mock, I actually had Josh Allen going number 1 overall to the Browns. I think size, arm strength, athleticism, I think he was the best fit for Cleveland moving forward to win. Mayfield obviously is going to help put more butts in the seat and create some buzz. But be interesting. Sam Darnold will probably do the same thing because there's high expectations.
He still might go to Cleveland. I remember I made a joke.
Exactly.
Go draft 2 quarterbacks in the first 40
They might.
first 2 picks. I think they might.
Well,
Exactly.
See, that's the thing is, from when I've talked to people, kind of reading between the lines, that Cleveland was really high on Josh Allen. They weren't really making it all too known. There was a little bit of buzz last week for a couple days, but other than that, it kind of died off. See, that's why I was taking the Mayfield pick as kind of like, no, it doesn't really jive. But wow. But we got 2 quarterbacks already off the board in the first 3 picks. So, and a running back. So over the last 5 years, we haven't really seen a ton of quarterbacks. And really, before Ezekiel Elliott last year, I don't think a running back had went in the first round for, 2 or 3 years. So, the Browns are back on the clock with 4 minutes and 22 seconds left. So,
Well, let me ask you a question.
yeah.
You don't think Baker Mayfield is available at this pick?
No,
Like,
I know
Do we really
it.
think that everybody knew that Johnson was going to get Barkley? Everybody knew
Yeah.
that Johnson was going to get Barkley. So the
Right.
only thing you got to be thinking that the Jets going to draft Mayfield and you're not going to be able to get him for you to get him number 1 and not get him number 4.
I without much doubt at all, would be very
Like,
certain
that's amazing.
that he would be available right now.
And then what you're telling is, let's say you do draft a quarterback at number 4. You're telling that number 4 quarterback that Baker Mayfield is worth the top level guaranteed money, and he's not. And y'all on the same team, though.
Yeah. Kind of.
You know what I'm saying? But like I say, when you look at it, you just observe the Browns and everything makes sense. These are the kind of moves they make. And they got Tyrod Taylor on the team.
Yeah, but that's not saying tons.
I mean, I'm almost low-key. I'm not a conspiracy person, but I just like low-key think this like must be some political pick. Because I don't know how that guy gets. Like, he's the shortest quarterback drafted at that pick since like Vic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, David.
a lot of question marks about Mayfield. Like, like I said, I just never, and I was saying this during the season. I saw guys that made NFL throws, and Mayfield made nice throws, but none of them were like standout NFL throws. I've seen Rosen make those throws. I've seen Darnold make those throws. I've even seen Allen make some of those throws, but I haven't seen Mayfield make that. Like I say, he's made nice college throws, but I haven't seen him make any consistent NFL throws where I'm like, he's not, I haven't seen him consistently put it over, the guy's outside shoulder like he should be. You know, it's like, but
and
he's the most accurate quarterback in this draft. So
but he isn't. He isn't. See, that's the other thing. Is like people keep hanging on. Oh, his completion percentage. Completion percentage does not equal accuracy. That's a fallacy.
Exactly.
So, again, there's a lot of stats that kind of lie. Say, interception is a stat that lies. I think they need to change the way they grade interceptions, kind of like they grade pitches. Is it a wild pitch? Is it a pass ball, or strike ball? So if you're throwing third and long to try to get a first down, and you're giving the ball up basically where you would have punted it to, the interception doesn't matter, 4th and long. Or even 3rd and long. It's essentially a punt. So, again, the way that interception weighs is lessened. So, here we go. The Browns selection is in. I should have worn the pens. Denzel Ward. Right. Okay. So probably one of the better. I think I had him as my top cornerback in this draft. Good cover corner. It's a decent pick. I don't know. Yeah, they got some picks here later on. I don't know. This is going to be a struggle for me since not to question everything now. But he's a good player, good pick. I don't have a problem with him. I don't see there's any issue with Ward going number 4 overall, and again, it's an NFL quality player. I think Mayfield is an NFL quality player, but you just kind of question where they're at. Again, obviously, he was really high on their draft board, so again, I've seen a lot of people had Ward as far down as Green Bay. So, is this Mike? Do you think Ward was a bit of a stretch at number 4?
No. I was actually looking forward to the Cleveland Browns. I thought they were going to pick me with the number 4 pick. I've been out of football for a while, and I only went as far as high school. But at this point, I figured I still had a chance with the Browns, and I'm kind of disappointed.
Would it have been amazing if they would have went like Will Hernandez there?
Honestly, if they would have picked Will Hernandez, I'd have been like, wow, okay, at least they maybe. I mean, like I said, I'm not a GM. Like I said, if they'd have picked Will Hernandez, I'd been like, okay, they lost their turn, but maybe they think he might, like I said, it's funny to me. I think Hernandez is going to be in a pool too. But I mean, like I said, Ward's not a bad pick, but you already made a questionable pick at number 1. Number 4, at least get the best player available, in my opinion. Which exactly would be Bradley. Get Bradley Chubb and get him together with Myles Garrett. And just like I say, and then like I say, at least you can be certain that you have the best, probably the best bookends in the NFL. A lot of these corners. I mean, like I say, Marshawn Lattimore last year was a hit. There's also been misses. The Raiders drafted his buddy, Garon Conley, I think his name is Garon or Jaron Conley last year, and he has not played it down. So, I consider him a miss. So it's like, I mean, I mean, there's a reason Cleveland is just 12 games. Like, and like I said, Denzel Ward might be a good player, but I mean, how much of an impact, I mean, like I said, unless they think that they're ready to contend right now, which they've added some pieces, but they're still the Browns. I mean, how much of an impact did Joe Hayden have on them? He was a good player, but there's only so much that a cornerback can do. Unless he's Dion or somebody who's going to shut down half the field.
Yeah,
the passing is going.
That's
cornerbacks
true.
just really can't do that anymore.
Hayden.
So to me, it's like get you another bookend on there who can a guy like Bradley Chubb who can disrupt the entire backfield, passing game, and running game. But that's me. Either that, or I mean, like I said, you also have a couple of very good linebackers that could have picked up.
They've actually had quite a few defensive backs, either corners or safeties, that have had started out and ended with pretty decent careers. none of it has amounted to anything. And I agree with you there. He clearly, see, that's the thing is like, clearly they have him rated really high on their board. And they do have several more picks here within the first, 70 some picks. But again, they maybe they feel they can find him later in the draft. I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of people are feeling like Bradley Chubb is kind of a reach. And let me tell you, I mean, as much as talented as he is, and I think he deserves to be up here in the top 10. Broncos' first pick is in, by the way. I'll let you know what that is here in a minute. As talented as he is, the guy on the other side of him, Katavius Street, I'm really high on him. He's 4.6 speed. The guy is like a walking muscle. Has a lot of moves, very athletic. The only knock on him is people feel he's too sticky. Shorter arms, and he's not getting off the blocks enough. But I can tell you, that has improved this offseason. I've seen it. So, yeah, it's and again, and this is a guy that again was already like I said, a walking muscle, squats 700 pounds. He still in preparation for the draft and for the pro days and whatnot, he still ended up cutting his body fat by like 2.5%. Like, so he has like 0 now. It's crazy. Now, I've been hearing a lot of understanding that if one of the top 3 quarterbacks were still available at this position in the draft, that the Broncos would likely take a quarterback here. Bradley Chubb. So Bradley Chubb, again, probably on most boards, the best player available at 5. So we're going to have Bradley Chubb opposite of Von Miller. And so they tanked to get Bradley Chubb. That's
a big time pick.
That is. I mean,
that's a big time pick for them.
He's going to be a good piece, like you said, the next 5 years.
Exactly.
Derek, what on as far as the first round, as far as contracts and stuff goes for the players, the drafted players, it's all fully guaranteed, 4 years with a 5th-year option. Is that correct? You there, Derek? We lost Derek. Derek is in Dallas right now at the draft. So.
Okay. That's a good pick. That's a good pick for the Broncos.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Chubb and Von Miller are going to wreak havoc on the roof, man.
They are. That's a real good pick for them, man. That in fact, if they get a little bit of offense, that pick can put them back in, even though they lost a key. But they can draft around that now because they got a real piece now.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of these cornerbacks is going to fall. You know, is going to be picked in the second round. I think they're going to be very good. You know, there's about, like I said, none of them are you know, and that's why I was surprised with Ward on, like, you know, how he did. Because none of them are clear cut guys. But you know, none of them, you know, to me, you know, none of them really stand outside of the group. I would have kind of said Fitzpatrick, and that's just because he can, you know, he's kind of that hybrid safety cornerback kind of guy. But you know, like I said, all the defensive backs are kind of, you know, I mean, to me, at least, like I said, at least to me, certainly the Cleveland, there's different thoughts, but I mean, to me, they all kind of in the same group, you know, which was around, you know, bottom of the top 10, you know, all the way through the beginning of the first part of the second round.
Yeah, I feel you. I agree. Even with Fitzpatrick, a lot of people thought Fitz was going to be the first corner off the board, or really the first DB. So for them to go to Ward is interesting because, like I said, Fitz was the guy with all the accolades.
But I'm just saying, you know, Cleveland, you never know. They make it exciting and interesting. And now, you know, now you got these two quarterbacks in Rosen and Allen, and you know, I'm guaranteeing you some team is going to change their pick. Who they might have had a guy locked in. Now they're going to have a chance to get, you know, maybe the quarterback they didn't think they're going to have a chance to get.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no way. You know what I mean? You got Josh Rosen, if he's in there, you know, in Miami. I mean, my goodness. You know?
Yeah.
How many more years are going to put their team in turnover?
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be
right now it's about going to the best situation because all the big money is off the board now. You start getting pick 6 and 7, all the big money is gone. So you ain't gonna get no big contract anyway. So you might as well just try to go to a good situation for you.
Yeah. Well, you know, they were talking about Rosen sliding, and if, you know, like you said, if he slides into a good team, like I said, he's a quarterback. I mean, to me, he has the biggest star potential out of any of these quarterbacks. He has that potential. You know, and if he goes to the right team, I mean, it could end up working out perfectly for him because, you know, he might not have the big contract initially, but what he can make up in endorsements, and like I said, you know, especially if he only gets locked up in, like, maybe, you know, if he gets, you know, I mean, like, the dream scenario would be kind of like, oh boy, who went to Dallas a couple of years, Lael Collins. You know, how he slid out of the draft and ended up going to them. You know, just signing with them as a free agent. You know, he ended up making more money than he would have in the draft. You know, so I mean, if Rosen or Allen could end up doing that, I mean, you know, that would be their dream scenario. You know, go to a team. You know, I mean, even, you know, I don't know if they'll get all the way down to, you know, to the Patriots or somebody like that. You know, but just go to a team that's already set and, you know, get to sit your year behind the quarterback or whatever, and, you know, become the next Aaron Rodgers. You know.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, you may see that same thing with Lamar Jackson, but if somebody, I doubt they both fall to the 20, but I can see the Panthers drafting one of them if they fall that far. But I doubt they make it that far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That would be a big signal to signal to Cam Newton.
Yeah, but Allen's a big dude. Allen like 6'5", man.
So the Bucks are up. They are on. They got over 5 minutes left on the clock. Now, I had them drafting Darwin James, safety out of
so do I.
Out of FSU. Now, Mike, you had
them drafting who, Matt?
James.
Oh, Darwin James. Yeah, I had them drafting Vita Vea out of Washington. He's a
Cali got on the tackle. We're gonna see. James to me the best player. He the best player on the board right now.
Yeah, I did. Like you said in our group chat. I think I just I mean, to me, like I say, James. He just is. He doesn't have the ball hawking skills that I think you need from a safety nowadays. I mean, even not. I mean, just the way the game has changed. Even the past couple of years, a safety like a Troy Polamalu, who's always been more of like a more old school kind of safety, might not have done as well as he did now, where you have a safety like an Ed Reed, who is more like a ball hawking safety, would have probably done either just as good or maybe even better now. Because that ball's going to be in the air with him. And Derwin James, he kind of reminds me of a guy we had at SC a couple of years, more than a couple of years ago, but named Darnell Bean.
who was a really good safety, but he wasn't a ball hawker,
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And Bing actually ended up switching to linebacker when he came into the league.
Bucks just traded their pick, man.
Baltimore did?
You said the Bucks just traded their pick?
Yeah, they traded their pick to Buffalo. So Buffalo got 7 now. So they obviously didn't see James as number 7. So you must think Buffalo gonna get rolling.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Rosen fits. I would, but I don't know if Rosen fits in Buffalo. Buffalo seems like that kind of town where you need a guy like Josh Allen, who just shut up and play quarterback.
Yeah. I think that's. But that's the kind of coach
he just fits in Buffalo, He fits in Buffalo, and I think, like I said, Rosen would fit in Miami, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel you. We got
some Rosen would kill.
I got to see what they got. I wonder what the Bucks got for that pick besides the first round.
Yeah, they probably, I don't know, maybe a second this year.
Yeah, got to be something, man, for them to move down because they in a good spot to pick up a lot of people.
Yeah. But, like I said, the Bucks, then again, besides their defense, their offense is there. It's just, you got to wonder how much faith you got in Jameis, and then you got to check their running game. Like I said, their running game, there's going to be a lot of good second-round running backs. So, like I said, unless they're going to try to, kind of reach up and maybe get a guy like Darius Geis in the first round. I don't think they will because, you're going to get a shot at a lot of second-round guys like, Nick Chubb and Sony Michel and, Ronald Jones. So, I just wait if I were them. But
so
I don't know.
This is a good move, and this is something that I was kind of in favor of them doing. Vita Vea, I don't think, makes a difference on that team today. And if they go Derwin James at 7, still, he's going to be a good add. But at 7, is he making a difference day one? I don't think so. Neither of those two positions really do. Moving back to 12, so they get the 12th pick, and they get 2 second-round picks. So now they're putting themselves in a position.
Wait a minute, you said they gave them 2 second-round picks?
Yeah. So they got the 12th overall and 2 seconds.
They got their second.
Hold on. You mean the second round is they got their own second round and another pick, or now they're going to have 3 second-round picks?
They'll have 2 second-round picks.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Damn, that's, I don't know, 5 spots. That's kind of high just for a second-round pick.
Yeah, I know. But that goes to show they didn't like what they saw. And the Bills got Josh Allen.
Yeah, they got Josh Allen.
The Bills got Allen. Okay.
Oh,
so
wow.
So they got their white hero.
Yeah.
So they got.
Oh man, I had to go on mute on that one, man. I was saying it. I didn't want to. I was thinking it. I didn't want to say it.
No, that's what it was all about. That's why they got rid of Tyrod last year. Then brought that other dude up who can't play. The dude cannot play.
Peterman?
You know what I'm saying? That's what it was all about. Yeah, Peterman.
Peterman is a backup.
Oh man.
So now they got their 2 white quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So now that's what they want in Buffalo.
Yeah, Josh Allen is a nice working class. He's waiting for Wyoming. They're gonna, even though, did you see those tweets that got released to his today?
Yeah.
But that stuff don't surprise me, bro. That stuff don't surprise me, dog. That don't surprise me.
Me neither.
That stuff don't surprise me, bro.
Man, oh boy, this country, you guys are the worst.
Yeah, so the Bills they wanted to move up to make sure they locked him in. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's Buffalo. That's a city you never just. I've never heard anybody in my life say, "Hey, I'm going to Buffalo. You want to go?" That's like one of the places you never hear anybody say they go willingly. You only go to a place like Buffalo if your job sends you there on a convention or something, or you got to go do something amazing.
You drive through it to get to Niagara.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. Yeah, go there to get to the falls. Yeah.
Because it's like saying, so I went to Siberia. What? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Upstate New York. Yeah.
Well,
Not the most welcoming of places.
He went to the small town NFL team, though.
Mm-hmm.
I can
they got Josh.
Chicago got 8. I can see them maybe getting somebody on defense. Because I don't see them drafting a wide receiver this high.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. We gotta see. I don't know. Maybe this might be the spot where Derwin James goes.
Yeah, he may be. Or 9 to San Fran after them.
Yeah. I think San Fran going to take one of them backers. It's 2 really good linebackers.
I think
and Roquan Smith, Tremaine Edwards.
I think the Bears go Vita Vea here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think they go deep.
Or if they or they trade back. Now with the Bucks, I want to kind of hit on something I didn't hit on. They are looking for defensive linemen in this draft. It's not a question. Shaquem Griffin had visited with them. He trained in Tampa. So I talked to him while he was there in Tampa, briefly. So hopefully
you talking about the guy from UCF?
Yeah. So hopefully he'll be a guest here in the next couple weeks on the show.
Yeah.
Work out the logistics on that still. Again, another guy was during the Senior Bowl Shrine Game, rather, was Davenport, Marcus Davenport from UT San Antonio. He showed up pretty big. And I know they had some interest in him, and I know he's kind of risen to the bottom of the first round, mid-first round. But we'll see how far he drops as well. But those are 2 pass rushers that they have had have met with or have shown interest in as well. That will be available into the first round, beginning of the second round. Now, just keep in mind, the Bucks have been really big players in the second round of the draft for the last few years, having 2 or more picks in the second round. So that's pretty much where they're finding some of that. They feel that there's latent talent that they can get for a more cost-effective, to be more cost-effective. So moving back to 12, I think is a good move for them. Darwin could fall to 12. We don't know he does. But the Bears pick is in. Like I said, I think they go Vita Vea here. We'll see here in just a moment. But then right after that, San Francisco, it'd be hard-pressed to see
Roquan.
San Francisco or Oakland, a.k.a. Las Vegas, not go defense in the first round.
It's just really, with the Niners, it's kind of difficult to say where they're going to go. You know, I mean, I'm sure they're going to go defense, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, you got to, you know, I mean, like I said, if they, you know, I mean, they might want to get Jimmy Garoppolo a new, you know, get him a new weapon. They got their quarterback, so, you know, if they do choose to pick a wide receiver, they have their pick of wide receivers right now. But, you know, their defense has a lot of questions. They got those 2 big, you know, defensive linemen. You know, they got Solomon Thomas, Eric Armstead, you know, you got to see how those guys are going to work out. And, you know, but like I said, there also are other holes on their defense. You know, I don't know. They're kind of up in the air.
So for the Bears got Roquan.
Yeah.
I don't know who they got at middle, but I don't have him playing middle linebacker in nobody defense. That's just my personal opinions. I think he's small.
Well, yeah.
I think he's gonna have issues.
Yeah, I can explain that. So that's what a lot of these teams they take. It's more of a hybrid look now. So they're taking a guy that be a traditional outside linebacker, or even kind of fringe safety, because they want him being able to do well in coverage. Now he's a solid tackler, even though he really doesn't have, like you say, the prototypical size to be a middle linebacker. He's quick, and he has decent coverage skills, and I think that's more what they're hitting on, because a lot of these teams are going more with hybrid backs, linebackers on the defense, rather than any sort of traditional, because that's kind of been the first place that the defensive has had success, by putting somebody that's more athletic in to cover more ground. So we'll see if he's able to stuff the run and how that's going to work. If they'll keep him at middle linebacker, or if he'll move around. And they might just play. Mike, do they give more of a 5-2 look in Chicago? Because that might make more sense too. If they have him as a Mike in a 5-2, that might make more sense, you know, because he essentially is an outside linebacker at that point, anyways.
Yeah. You got to see, you know, he's going to struggle taking especially guards on straight up because of his size. I mean, they just ain't no getting around that. Now, he's the NFL, so they can put size on you. But initially, the question is, where does he play at? You know what I'm saying? Because if you got a guy who only can play if he's free, well, you're not going to always be free, especially in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And like he got Sam Adams and Sarah Goose in front of him. Like, that's not what the situation is in Chicago. So I think his ability is based on him being able to just run and tackle. So if the Bears can't place him in that situation, I think he may have some issues struggling because he don't have the size. You can find athletic ability with the size. You don't need to just go for just the athletic ability and not compensate, but compromise on the size, in my opinion.
Well, one thing I've noticed, being able to talk more with scouts and office people, they find people that they're sweet on and they get stuck on them, you know? Because that's the thing is like Shaq Griffin. Like, I'll hear a scout on one hand, he'll say, you know, he's a situational pass rusher. We don't like him. He's just a situational pass rusher. He's not a first 2-day guy, despite the talent or whatever. Plus, you know, we don't think he can catch the ball. And I'm like, it's like you contradict yourself. If he's a situational pass rusher, what do you give a shit about him catching a ball for? He's not dropping in coverage. He's not. You just want him to bat the ball down. He's not playing coverage. Why do you care? And he can play coverage. He's a converted safety. He runs a sub 4.4. He has good strength, and he's athletic as hell. Like you don't think he's a first 2-day talent because he's missing a hand. Like, that's the thing. People, like, some guys can't look past something, and I'm willing to bet guys really hadn't even watched film on him.
Let me ask you this question, Matt. I don't know if you know or not. Has there ever been a possibility of him wearing a prosthetic?
No, not currently, because just like the NFL rule for like casts and stuff like that, it could be considered a weapon. So it would have to be a soft prosthetic, and it would be ineffective anyways. But what I'm probably looking for them to do is find some sort of a glove or a bigger. I don't want to say nub to laugh. To add something, to add more girth to the end of his wrist, or to be able to get more grip.
And they'll have to put something textured on it too, because he's like I say, he's gonna be at a disadvantage because he will not be able to grab with two hands.
He's his technique. He has his own technique of this hook that he does. All right, so problem again. All right, so hang in there with us, folks. I know you over on Spreaker.com and SoundCloud. Thank you for hanging in there. San Francisco end up
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Get on the ball on the NFL level is the tip of your finger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I was.
That's why I said maybe if they can get it, get his nub to have like a little maybe rubberized texture. I don't know. Maybe just so he can give him a little bit of grip to it.
Yeah.
Or like I said, I'm sure he practices on how to come around with the other hand. But,
yeah, it's a hook.
He does a faster game.
He's able to hook his forearm. So it's kind of it's interesting the way it looks more like what you would do with a form tackle, but you're not bringing your hands in. But the way he hooks it around with the inside of his forearm, that bone that's right there on your forearm, he's actually able to like hook. It's almost like a hook, so he can get some grip.
Well, I'm not saying from the front. I'm just saying if he's in pursuit of somebody though,
Yeah.
He's not grabbing nobody.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Yeah.
I mean, if he's in front of the guy and he can square up on the dude, I'm sure he's proven he can bring him down. But like I'm saying, if he's in pursuit, that might have worked on USF competition. UCF competition, this NFL. You got to.
Hey, it was working on SEC competition too. So just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Mainly against UCF competition, though.
He's a good player. Just like you said, you wonder, can he technically play what he does? Because at that level of the game, man, it's so tech. It's not just a good athlete. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the issue. Is how does he compensate for that?
Mm-hmm. I know.
Sorry,
go ahead, David.
No, you got it.
I was just going to say, especially depending on which team he goes to. I mean, if he goes to a team, that has a good defensive line, it can make all the difference for him because then he would not have to worry about pulling guards and stuff like. But I mean, if he go to a team that got weak defensive tackles and then guards get up to him and put hands on him,
that's what I was saying. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm saying. That's the same thing I'm saying with Roquan. If them guards get on you, man, and you don't have the ability to at least stalemate them, it's over. You're in the play. You're not in the play no more. Because they only job, really, all they supposed to really try to do is stalemate you. But if they can get you and occupy you, by the time you figure out what's going on, that back gonna be by you. Because it's like you say, the NFL, everything moving so fast.
Yep.
So then, the NFL level, that block don't have to hold that long that they might have to hold in college because the skilled players are moving so fast. They through that hole and they gone by the time you blink your eyes twice.
Well, I've been where I talked to him with his trainer. His trainer has this interesting technique. It's like an ice skating technique, which is really wreaks havoc with offensive linemen because the whole thing with your kick step, you're going back, and you're reading the guy. Once an offensive lineman has committed to kick step back or move inside, once he's hit inside, he's stuck. He can't do anything but grab. So it's very tipsy-turvy. But until he's made decision to plant, the offensive line made a decision to plant, he can pretty much just kind of shuffle in front of most guys. The thing is, Griffin has elite level speed. So he's going to be able to get outside and around most guys. But also, this ice skating technique, essentially, he's not going right or left. He's shuffling right-left, but he's going directly at the offensive lineman, which throws them off. So we seen a little bit of it in work at the Senior Bowl. Again, this is a new technique for him, but it's something I feel it's going to work really well in the NFL for him.
I don't know, man. I gotta see how that works. To me, if I ever see a linebacker shuffling, that means he's about to get his ass whooped.
No, because they're first. No, think about
I want my linebacker going forward and two who's he about to tackle. If you start shuffling your feet against a 330 pound
No, it's not shuffling. It's not shuffling. It's not shuffling. It's literally like skating. Like
he's gonna get shuffled, all right. It's gonna be some shuffling.
Listen. He essentially, it's like he's ice skating towards him, because what I'm telling you, it disrupts offensive linemen.
I don't ever want to hear no defensive. When you're a defensive player and you're talking about offensive linemen, skates is something you never want to hear. I don't want to hear nobody on skates. That means you're getting beat.
All right.
I mean, I feel what you're saying though. I want dude to succeed. I like his story and I have everything I've seen about me, but it's going to take what they call it. It's going to take an adjustment period.
Yeah, there will be. I'm saying this.
My
and
thing
this
is, what I was wondering about, they invited him to the draft, and I'm like, unless they go something we don't know. You know?
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, they're high on him. He could go at the end of the first round.
You think he might go in the first round?
He could go at the end of the first round.
Wow. I mean, yeah, they invited him, so. Mm.
If he wasn't going to go today or tomorrow, he wouldn't have gotten invited to New York.
Yeah.
So.
The Cards got Rosen, man. The Cards when they got Rosen.
Ooh. That's a good pick for them.
Yes, that is a nice pick for them. Wow.
He got him, so that's a good pick for them. They traded. I forgot who they traded with.
And while we were talking to the Niners, got McGlinchey. Yeah.
I've seen that.
He's a pretty solid offensive tackle. Get your quarterback some protection. So,
yeah.
And it's interesting. I seen Nelson going of the two linemen from Notre Dame. I've seen Nelson going higher. Most, in him going towards the end of the first round. But Mike, you had him actually going number 6 overall to the Colts, so it's not too far off.
I think that. I think that's where he went. But he, like you said, he's a really good offensive lineman. He's a guy, like I say, he kind of reminds me of Brandon Albert from a couple of years ago. Who was a guard, but he was able to slide out the tackle.
Yeah.
He's one of them guys. Like I said, if he moves out the tackle, I wouldn't be surprised. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that huge height that everybody loves in their tackle. He's
right.
I think he's
right
like
tackle
6'3", 6'4", but. Everybody's not going to be 6'8", so
I don't think he's a left tackle.
But in terms of mean streak and getting in somebody's pads, he's there.
You agree with that? He's a right tackle, not a left tackle.
I don't know. I'd have to see. He's played on that left side, so like I said, he's nimble enough to where he could be a left tackle. I mean, that's the thing. He's nimble. You got to remember, like I said, he was that left guard, right there. They did a lot of pulling. he was the guy who would go up on the second level. I mean, like I say, I got to see them, firsthand when they, when they played SC, and the offensive line was mauling, man. I mean, my goodness, they were, and SC didn't have a bad defensive line this year, but like I said, they were not prepared for what Notre Dame was bringing, on that offensive line. Them two dudes, I mean, to me, like I said, I think McGlinchey and Nelson are better than old boy they had a couple of years ago, Stanley. And I think he went number 10 or number 8, I think.
Okay. I remember him. I knew McGlinchey was going to go high. That dude big as hell, man.
Yeah. Well, see, that's something. That's just for him. I mean, I think McGlinchey, he has a size, but I mean, in terms of everything you want, I like Nelson better. But he just, I mean, everybody. I mean, Larry Allen was only 6'4", so yeah. But I mean, everybody can't be 6'8", 6'9" Jonathan Ogden types.
I feel you.
But I mean, in today's game, you want, to me, you want a more nimble kind of tackle as opposed to a more, I mean, well, depending on your offense, you want a more nimble kind of tackle as opposed to the, to the bookend, pillars of, left tackle guys that we used to have.
Yeah, I feel you.
Hey,
Miami on the board. I don't know who they're gonna get.
Hey, Mike, off topic. If I could get a Nintendo Wii with Wii Sport and Wii Fit with the board for $30, that's decent, right?
What'd you say that was?
A Nintendo Wii.
What'd you say it was?
$30.
I don't know, man. I guess I ain't been on console. I ain't been on console here. I'm a PC guy. I consider myself sophisticated.
I know. I got it for my kids. It's $30. They're too rough with my NES. So, and the thing is, like the old Nintendo, you kind of have to be a little abusive with it to get it to work. And my kids are too abusive with it. I just can't. I've had that thing since like 87. So, be gentle with it. All right, the Dolphins.
I mean, it's good for kids.
11 pick. Dolphins select Minka Fitzpatrick, cornerback out of Alabama.
Yeah, they got him.
Okay.
He slid further in the draft than I think a lot of people had him slotted for. I saw him, top 5 in most drafts. I think, Mike, you had him actually 5th to the Broncos on yours.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What do you think it is that the slide? I mean, all the way.
Well, I think. I mean, like I said, to me, there's only certain teams that want to get certain players. I mean, to me, this is saying that teams are maybe looking at him more as a safety spot, and like I say, with safeties, I mean, to me, unless you're a certain type of safety, you almost don't even get a first round grade, in my opinion, just because that safety position. There's so many different factors that can be. Safety is almost like a right fielder in baseball. I mean, it's so many factors that can factor in. Is this dude going to be effective in the game or not? Unless you're a ball hawking safety. I mean, like I said, I mean now I got, like I say, if he's going this late, if Derwin slides past the Bucs, then you got to look at where like I said, where you think Derwin James is going to get drafted. He, like I said, I think and that's why I had him going all the way down to Pittsburgh. But I mean, how many teams are looking for a safety like that? So it's like and I think that's saying that Minka is, they're probably looking at him as more of a safety.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with that.
They have him slotted here as a safety. He did his workouts and stuff with the safeties at the combine too. So it's obviously kind of where they've suggested they want to see him at. And again, like I was saying, if the Bucs felt like they could move back from 7 to 12 and still get who they're looking for and pick up additional picks, then obviously very advantageous to do so. So the Bucks are on the clock now. We'll see which direction they go in. Again, like you're saying, safeties, I don't know. I kind of struggle sometimes unless, safeties are kind of like those generational type guys. To take them.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
This high in the draft.
I mean, to me, you look at safeties in the NFL in the past, and their success has been dependent. Well, unless, like I said, unless they're just that type of safety, their success has been dependent on what type of defense the team is running. I mean, look at who was I thinking about? Look at Roy Williams in Dallas. For about 3 or 4 years, he was one of the best. Roy Williams. He's the best. I think he one of the best defensive players in the league, and he was getting salary and making Pro Bowls and All-Pro teams. Then, a couple of changes on defense. Now Roy Williams is garbage. Literally, he went from the best to like garbage.
Look
and
at
that can happen with safeties. That's why
what's
a lot of these safeties you got to watch out for them.
From the Seahawks, he kind of bounced around after he left the Seahawks. Though he was
who's that?
Chandler.
Oh, Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, Chancellor. Even though he played a lot as a corner, but also safety. And then there's other guys that were corners coming into the league and then converted.
You mentioned the Seahawks. Look at him, and then you look at Earl Thomas. They took who the better, who the more versatile player was. And even Earl Thomas. You look at when Pete Carroll went to the Seahawks, he picked him over. Who was that guy that SC had? I just had his name on to my time. SC had a safety. I can't think of his name. It was really good, and he was mad that Pete Carroll didn't pick him, and it perfectly showed why.
John David Booty.
I can't think of his name, but Pete Carroll really showed why he didn't pick him over Earl Thomas because years later this guy's out of the NFL, and Earl Thomas was a Pro Bowl and former All-Pro and Super Bowl champion. So you get that right safety in there, they can change the offense, but. You get that wrong. Like I say, safety's like a right fielder. You can just be out there lost sometimes and get ignored in the defense because nobody hits the right field,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
I think you're thinking of John David Booty.
What's up?
John David Booty? Is that who you were thinking of?
Booty's a quarterback.
Yeah, it was a light-skinned dude. He was a good athlete, but he wasn't good. He was not a great ball hawking safety. A big guy, though.
Taylor Mays. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, Taylor Mays.
Okay.
Yeah, Taylor Mays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hell of an athlete, but like I say, he's a guy. He's a guy. Like I say, like I say, him and Derwin James, same body, same guy. Fast,
Vita Vea.
And like I said, Mays was faster.
The Bucks select Vita Vea.
But
defensive tackle from Washington.
He was right about Vita Vea, just at a different number.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think, like I said, and that, and what we were saying about linebackers, like I said, if you get Vita Vea and you put him together with Gerald McCoy in that middle right there, like I said, that's good. It's gonna be. He might not have a big impact, as we see watching the game, but the players in the game
is
having that big body in front of you for the linebacker clogging up the running game. It's going to change everything.
Is he there?
Gerald McCoy, he's a good defensive tackle, but Gerald McCoy is not really a space here. He's more, he's more of a penetrator, that type of guy. So, you get yourself a space eater next to him. I mean, that middle is going to, and like I said, the Bucs, they never really had a good offense. Like I said, that's going to take pressure off of Noah and the defensive end. It's going to take pressure off the backers. It'll make a big difference.
Yeah. If he turns out, he'll be a good pick for them. But that's a Mike Smith pick. They went and got a D tackle because I didn't see them get nobody on offense, not in the first round anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of like you remember like on the old Bucks when the Bucks had
Boog.
They had Warren Sapp, and then on the other tackle they had Booger McFarland. Booger McFarland often used to get overlooked, but he was really important to that defense.
He was. He was a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's not so big anymore.
There, space, take up those guards.
I guess he is big. I guess he's not like playing big though. Him or Sapp. Sapp's a lot smaller than him now.
Mm.
But Boog's in good shape. Saw him in Tampa a few weeks ago.
Mm.
So James in the draft room, like, man, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Texting Jameis.
He might drop late though.
Texting Jameis. Thought you had me, man.
What pick is I think Dallas. I don't know, man. He might go to Dallas.
Yeah, he may go to Dallas.
What's your?
Dallas seems like the type of like I said, they took Roy Williams.
Mike, what's your take on Josh Sweat? I know he's kind of.
Sweat is the type of dude. I mean, he's a Josh Sweat. I mean, he's a guy who had all the physical ability in the world, and it could never transfer into on the field. Really, you got two guys coming out of FSU like that, and him and Matthew Thomas, and these were the two top players in their position, and they were two top 5 players overall coming out of high school, and they just never, they never started them. I mean, Sweat is he's what 250, 260, running a 4.4. He's supposed to be Jadavion Clowney, one of them type of cats,
Yeah.
And he, and it just, he's gotten injured, so I mean, like I said, he's a guy, if he gets on the right team and can stay healthy, and he finally figure out he got to play ball, he could still have an impact, but
I'll tell you exactly.
You got them question marks. Some of them type of guys you got to worry. You got to start getting question marks. I mean, injuries is injuries. Everybody's gonna get injured, but then when he is healthy, you got to wonder what type of player you're gonna get.
Let me see here. Josh, he runs.
I mean, I was reading a story about him and that injury he had in high school. I believe they were talking about him might not even. They talked about his leg might have to get amputated. He had a kind of he had an injury like your boy Lattimore or like Livingston did on the basketball player. He had one of them injuries where they thought they might have to cut his leg off.
Yeah, I talked to him about that and physician as well. It's really a non-injury. Really, it's a non-issue at this point. And I know a lot of
you
teams.
Said that was a non-issue.
At this point, it's a non-issue. It's fully healed. Literally.
Yeah, maybe to him.
But to teams, it's not. I mean, but hold on. So I don't have the number. I don't have those numbers on him. I mean, he runs a.
I don't know.
What, a
if I'm
4.6?
drafting a player, one of my first questions is going to be: has your leg almost ever gotten amputated? Yes. I'm going to put a question mark by their. We'll put a big red question mark by their name.
What I'm telling you is what the medical staff says.
I'm going to separate the room. I'm going to separate the room into two groups.
It is
the dudes who have healthy legs over here, and the dudes whose legs almost got amputated over here. And if you're in that group over there, you get the question mark. I'm going to actually hand you a question mark, and then you hold it.
What I'm saying is, medical staff has said it's fully healed. It's not an issue moving forward. And again, that was it was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
He had an issue with a different knee and a shoulder. So none of his injuries that he sustained have been reoccurring injuries. So that knee has held up.
It's only injury prone though. That's a lot of
it's not. No, it's kind of, and that's the thing is that's kind of the question. But if you go back and look at the plays and stuff he's injured on, it's just crazy scenarios. Bad luck.
Yeah. Well,
what my concern is,
you injure one leg, then a couple of years ago you injure another leg, then you injure a shoulder,
Okay,
Like,
so
you know,
let's start with that. Let's do
question.
Gerald McCoy.
Did he get his degree at FSU?
Gerald McCoy.
Did he graduate at FSU?
Yes, he did.
He did?
He tore bicep,
Okay, well,
left bicep, then he tore right bicep, and he's, so McCoy, the first 2 years in the league, really didn't do anything. He basically had 2 red shirts. Seasons. The Redskins pick is in. Deron Payne.
I don't know. It might be different. I mean, I don't know. I think they almost amputated McCoy's leg.
No, what I'm saying is,
like I said, I compare Josh Sweat to Marcus Lattimore than I would compare him to Gerald McCoy.
No, I know what you're saying. The injury, yes. What you're saying is he injury prone? McCoy was in. If you take that example of non-congruent injuries and you apply it and say he's injury prone, then that means Gerald McCoy is injury prone. But that's not the case. He's not. Again, this is what medical staff is telling me, not him. He's going to tell me it's fine no matter what. Player will always tell you it's fine, like 99% of the time. You find one player that won't.
He'll play football and he can't.
But my issue is he has trouble getting off the blocks. I mean, when he tested in before, just out of FSU, he tested in. He did 12 reps on the bench. And he's been a pretty consistent 4.64, 4.65 40 guy. So over the course of time training, it didn't get faster. And I don't have any other test scores on his bench. I'd have to look what he did at the combine. But before the combine, his first testing, he did 12. And it's kind of the injury with him is kind of is where some have the most pause. Others have kind of questioned work ethic with him. I didn't see work ethic being an issue in his training process. His trainers didn't say anything about it being an issue. I didn't find anybody that had anything to say poorly about his work ethic. So he ran a 4.53.
Maybe he just peaked out in college.
Might have a 4.53 at the combine, and he didn't do the bench.
That happens a lot.
So
he didn't. I don't mean the combine. I mean like his play on the field was never.
No.
Lights out.
I was just checking on because he did 12 reps. He didn't do the bench at the combine. Clearly, because he only did 12 reps before any of the All-Star games. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of low-key expected that. He a long dude, man. So I kind of, that could almost be like 24 reps for somebody else.
But no, he's a guy
he's a long dude.
Yeah, but he's considered defensive end or defensive tackle, primarily defensive tackle. Like a lot of guys look at him as a 3 technique. He needs to be able to have strength.
You mean Sweat?
Yes.
Wait a minute, you said Josh Sweat is a defensive tackle?
No,
Yes.
man, he an end, man. He a 7 tech, dog. I mean, no in the world you move that dude.
7?
I think he caved in.
He's not a 7. A 6, not a 7. He doesn't have the speed.
Wait, hold on. Maybe we still talking about Josh Sweat?
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking about Josh Sweat.
Yes.
Matt said this do a 3 technique. Okay. He get caved in.
I'm saying.
He get caved in, dude.
They had Chad Thomas. They have Chad Thomas.
Got to be over 300 pounds.
Listen, teams were running. So you think?
He's a 7 tech.
So you think Chad Thomas is not a 3 technique either?
Chad Thomas for Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a 3-tech either. He'll get caved in, too.
So what I'm telling you is NFL teams have showed interest in developing both of those players as a 3 technique.
Yeah, they show interest, but when they get them out there, they're going to realize that's not going to work.
That's what I'm telling you.
Sweat too long.
They're not 7 techniques.
Look at his midsection.
Neither of them.
It's too long.
Thomas
bro.
is before Sweat.
Hold on, let me ask you a question, Matt. Were the NFL teams that said that about Josh Sweat? Were these the same teams that said he's not injury prone too?
Look at his midsection.
No, those weren't.
No,
there was a doctor. It was a doctor that told me that. No, I'm saying I don't think it's injury prone. Well, I went back and I looked at the college injuries, and it wasn't correlated for what I saw of someone that's injury prone. Just kind of bad luck, and that's why I equated it to.
Yeah,
like
I mean, okay,
McCoy.
I'll give you that, but then again, like I said, that's not. I mean, okay, let's say that, but then, I mean, I wouldn't want to risk that, especially you think about putting him in as a 3 technique.
Yeah, they've shown interest in having him and Chet. I'm telling you, both of them. Again.
I mean, to me, like I said, a guy who you think might have a gimpy shoulder or not, and bad knees, and you want to change him from an outside pass rusher to a 3 technique. I don't know about that. I mean, that's just saying me. I mean, like you said, if you heard it, you heard it. But I mean, I don't know. Was this the Browns?
No, it was not the Browns.
There's only two teams I know that would do that: the Browns, and the Bears.
Well, was Will Golston? Is he a 3 technique, or is he an outside rusher?
Who?
Will Golston.
Who is that? Who he play for?
Plays for the Bucks.
You mean that dude from Michigan State a couple of years ago?
Yes. He's been.
I mean, he was outside. I mean,
he's been Gerald McCoy's backup.
But he way bigger than both them dudes. He not way bigger than Chad Thomas, but he way bigger than Sweat.
Yeah, plus he's kind of like a utility player. I mean, he's not, that dude is gonna get on the field wherever he can get on. I mean, like I said, I'm seeing what you're saying, man. Okay, I see what you said. Okay, if you include Josh Sweat is that type of guy, but I'm saying, I mean, in my opinion, to where he could be maximized, where he could be a star, would be, like Dave said, that's outside of 7. I mean, if you just want to, have him as a body, he can get in there. I mean, yeah, but I mean that, it wouldn't be ideal for. I mean, I wouldn't want ideally for an outside pass rusher to try to have to, get on the inside at the NFL level to start. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched FSU games. Maybe I don't know. Maybe has he ever played on the inside before?
No. Not that I saw. Unless
that's a big skill.
Unless
boys on the inside,
I mean,
they eat, boy.
If you're talking about if they were in more of like a look, like a 5-3 like look, where essentially his technique would be more like a defensive, still be a defensive end, but positioning on the field. He's moved inside a little bit, but has never been successful moving inside. I'll put it that way. The problem is with him and with Thomas and a lot of guys, especially when you get over 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". These guys, the problem is their technique's not there. Their stance is too short, so they stand up instead of going forward. So that's the thing is like guys like that don't translate as well. So but just to tell you, the combine, Will Golston is 6'7", 275. We're talking about 6'5", 251. Marcus Davenport goes 14th overall to the New Orleans Saints. See, Davenport. Again, people been pretty high on him.
Yeah. They was watching him for him to go out of UT San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Davenport, he's one of them guys. He's gonna get drafted, but you know.
The Bucks are confident. The Bucks are confident in Noah Spence. By the way, returning and being a productive starter.
I like Spence, man. That's why I said I think get Vita
and he's healthy.
Going to help him out. You know, he's going to have that big body next to you.
He's healthy.
You know?
He's healthy, and he's bigger than I thought.
Spence got to get back into that mode. You got to get back into that mode he was with when he was at freaking Ohio State, man. I mean, his freshman year at Ohio State, that dude, he was a beast. I mean, my goodness.
I hadn't seen a freshman do that in a while. I think he had like 10 sacks his freshman year until he got caught up in that fiasco and had to transfer.
Yeah, but he's in good shape now. He's
Which on the side note, I was watching this thing. Ohio State had a lot of stuff going on for them not to have been put on sanction. If you look at what happened between Spence and Terrell Pryor and Jim Tressel, they had a lot of, and your boy, what's the running back name? Crazy. Who went early in the draft? What's that dude's name? Maurice Clarett. They had a lot.
Yeah,
of stuff
Maurice
going on
Clarett. They even had an issue with,
especially what they did to USC. Compared to what they did to USC, Ohio State got let off so easy.
Some get caught up, some don't.
Yeah. Which also, I think, like I said, going back, I think McNair, I think he's going to win this case against NCAA. I think they're going to have to cough up a lot of money. I'm surprised they haven't settled.
The Raiders pick is in.
I don't know who the Raiders pick. They need a wide receiver, too.
Yeah, John Gruden's not going to pick a wide receiver. So you going to go to some Raiders games this year before they leave your hometown, Mike?
No means no.
No? What?
Nope. Why would I? Not going to no stadium. Not going to no games in a dilapidated old stadium. No.
So you're gonna go when they're in Vegas?
Heck no. I'm gonna avoid all them games like I hope it's gonna happen in Vegas. I'm gonna force them to come back to Oakland and build a new stadium here.
Well, that's not gonna happen. Like y'all don't even. It's funny because now, so Oakland is so unwilling to build a stadium for a team. They said, "Hey, athletics, we'll sell you the shit stadium you have now." Like, yeah, you buy out your contract, we'll give you the stadium. Like, you serious?
Well, like I said a couple of months ago, you got a lot more stuff going on in Oakland, and they're not worried about stadiums. You got a mayor that's busy trying to, be a social warrior. So, she busy battling Donald Trump for no reason, over stuff that don't matter.
Oh, she got that Canadian Prime Minister fever. Is that what it is? That guy. That dude tries too hard.
She's the one who told, she's the one who dropped she dropped the dime. Well, she didn't drop the dime. She let the ICE people know. She let the ambassador workers know when they were going to come to raid her. They said it was like 11 murders on that list. I'm not a big Trump fan either, but I don't know. To me, that was kind of lousy what she did. So.
No. All right.
15. Oakland, like I said, Oakland has so many issues right now, and I can see what they're trying to do. So, You know.
All right, 15th overall pick to the Raiders is Colton Miller. All right. You know, I think he'll have a productive NFL career, but I don't know if I see him as a first-round guy. Josh Rosen just seemed to be under duress the last 3 years.
He's a developmental project, man. I mean, he's one of them dudes.
You know, he's a dude, like, you know, like I say, he has that body type. He's 6'9", 300-something pounds, but, you know, it's everything else that can, you know, and like I said, you know, I don't know. This is what I'm saying. You know, it's surprisingly because, you know, John Gruden is supposed to be the new coach. You're not supposed to be doing the Al Davis thing again. But then again, this is an Al Davis kind of pick where we just go and pick the biggest offensive lineman. You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, Colton, you know, he has skills, but it's like this high. I mean, you know, like I said, I would have rather than get old boy from Virginia Tech, that linebacker.
Yeah. I feel you. Or get Ridley or
Edwards,
some wide receiver or somebody.
Exactly, or a quarterback. Yeah. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. Well, you saying they got a project player?
Yeah, I mean, this dude, you know, I don't know if Colt, you know, I mean, he's, you know, I mean, like I say, let's say this, if he was skilled, he'd be a top 5 pick, you know.
Okay, I feel you.
But he's not, you know. I mean, you know, like I said, you know, and that's the other thing. I didn't get a chance to say I am not that big on John Gruden being back, man. He's already done stuff I don't like.
On who?
I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I think he's the type of guy who's going to try to come in there and do things his way, which, like I say, the Raiders, you know, I mean, like I said, it's not like they were in a turmoil. I don't think they should have got rid of Del Rey. It's like you can't stop Derek Carr from getting injured, you know? That's not to me, that wasn't a reason to panic, you know?
Yeah.
Especially for what they paid, you know, for him. You know, it's like, my goodness.
I'm telling you, man.
I think they just wanted a new coach with that
Colton Miller.
I think they just wanted a new coach.
No, they had to find out a way to get people to come to football games.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, the diehard fans go to football games.
This is all. It's
kind of like
the owner. You know, it's
kind of like Stevie driving to Miami.
You know, he wants to get the new coach.
Dude drives to Miami eight
Plus they got
games out of the year.
Too. That really made me mad too. I don't think that was the move they needed to do. You know. And they're saying they got rid of him because he butted heads with Gruden. It's like, what? How much interaction could Marquette King and John Gruden have had in the offseason to where he would have butted heads with them? You know,
I'm not into that social media, man. He's the only one that wants to have
Gruden coach and GM?
What's that?
Is Gruden coach and GM?
No. Just
no,
coach.
McKenzie's still the GM, but you gotta figure.
No,
you gotta figure the shift. You know, the power is going to be shifted in his favor.
He brought in Greg Olson too. You saw that?
The tight end,
the offensive coordinator.
Oh, okay. yeah. I knew that. Yeah.
So I've been kind of.
But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they went 6-10 this year.
6-10. You think so?
Yeah.
All right, the Bills pick up the pick from the Ravens. Jermaine Edmonds, linebacker from Vatech. Yeah, I like
Virginia Tech.
I like this guy.
That's why I was saying the Raiders. I thought that.
He has size, speed. Again, he could rush the passer. He can get back in coverage. He can do just about whatever you need him to.
Exactly.
First team All ACC, that was for sure.
Yeah.
He's the one guy. I think I watched like 3 Vatech games this year. He's the one guy that always stood out. It's like, this guy is significant. Yeah.
That's a good pick about the Bills.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know.
I like it.
Bills fans are excited.
I mean, if Allen works out, they won the first round, in my opinion.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
That's for sure.
Dallas on the clock.
Dallas is?
I got them. Yeah, Dallas on the clock. Oh, my bad. The Chargers on the clock. I don't know who they're going to get. They got everything on offense.
Do you watch?
I don't know what they're going for.
Do you watch Dion's show, the show that he's on the NFL Network?
Every once in a while.
I feel like there's a sense of Stephen A. Smith there sometimes. It's just like, shut up. Like, I don't know, man. Sometimes Dion just goes on
This
and
could be a
on.
spot where Derwin James goes.
Could be. The Chargers have done really well drafting some very dynamic players over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got some guys there. You know, this is a team that could realistically have some playoff implications, you know. Melvin Gordon really did pan out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's the thing is, like, I think there was some...
As long as they can keep Rivers healthy, I mean, you got to figure now this year he's going to have a healthy Mike Williams, too, to complement Keenan Allen. So,
Yeah.
that offense is going to be looking pretty good.
You know, they got a tight end.
Uh-huh. So you just got to, see what they do. I don't know, maybe
That's
O-line,
right.
if they don't go O-line or deal,
They picked up Pouncey and Matt Slauson on the offensive line. Two quality offensive linemen there.
And I'd be straight on there, man.
Yeah. So, yeah.
They waiting a long time, too. They act like they don't know who they picking.
Well, they had 4 minutes of 7 minutes.
You know what I'm saying? By this time of the draft, you know who's still up. You know what I'm saying? You know who on your board. Shit should be almost automatic.
Yeah. Lattimore's right. How is Darwin James still on the board? That's a good question. I mean, that's kind of what we're all wondering here.
Yeah,
but it kind of comes back.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Kind of comes back to it. At the safety position, our team seeing him
But see, to me,
as impact.
he's not a safety, though. Like, to me, a guy that size, if he can learn the scheme, he can play multiple positions.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's
So that
a good
may be
fit.
a bad thing
He
because
could be
they may feel like his.
I think he's a better fit as an outside linebacker, honestly. He's big.
That's what I was saying too.
Yeah.
But that's the problem is as an outside, he may not grade as a first round guy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to make the NFL just as a pure athlete if the ball not in your hand on every play, or the ball gonna be going to you on a regular. But it's hard to do it just or make an NFL as a first rounder as just an athlete. To me, that's really what he is, an athlete. So it may be hard. And to me, Lamar, the quarterback from Louisville, is just an athlete too.
Yeah.
So I got to see where they come in at.
Well, that's what the Rams did with Mark Barron. And I thought Mark Barron was probably going to be a better fit as a linebacker, too. Obviously, he didn't work good as a safety in Tampa. I never thought he had, like, the cover skills as a safety. And you just can't have some guy that's going to come up and hit. But he has enough coverage skills as a linebacker because he has help behind him. So you can put him on tight ends and stuff.
Okay.
So that's kind of
Chargers
like,
went with Derwin.
What's that?
Chargers went with Derwin.
All right. So that's kind of they can use him. They can use him as a linebacker. They can use him as a safety. And again, he's one of those hybrid players. I think they can move him around and use him in different disguises and stuff on the defense. They get pretty inventive there with some of the schemes and some of the things that they do. So.
Yeah, he should work, and he's not going to a cold weather team. That's a good thing. So at least he's playing in an environment that he used to, because Diego is not like it's going to be cold like that. So it's similar to Florida, not as hot as Florida, but it's similar. Yeah, because I would really almost put him almost like as a similar to Cam Chancellor, almost like a rover.
Yeah.
And that was my thing, is that how the teams value that position. Do they value that? You see a lot of teams didn't value that as a top 10 guy.
Well, it depends. It depends on the defense. A guy like that can be valuable, but the Chargers, they really haven't had an impact safety since they let Eric Weddle go a couple of seasons ago. So, maybe they think Derwin could be in that mold. I don't know.
No, I don't think he got that kind of mobility.
Yeah.
Who?
I don't think he got it. Eric Weddle.
Well,
Weddle's a smaller guy, but he's so much more mobile.
So, with the Chargers, though, I believe, didn't they just hire Gus Bradley as the defensive coordinator? I know Ron Millis has been their defensive back coach for a while, and he's done pretty good with defensive backs. A couple guys have turned Pro Bowl. Hayward, Casey Hayward was one of those guys. So, obviously, I think he's in pretty good hands as far as position coach. Mike, what's your take on Gus Bradley?
Where's he coming from?
Gus Bradley? He's been a coach a lot of places. He was before. Let me double check. I think he was with the Jags. I think he was with Jacksonville before. Let's see here. Yeah. So he was the head coach with the Jaguars. Yeah, that was his last gig. So he was the head coach with the Jaguars.
Okay, I remember him.
Yeah, till 2016. But he was a defensive coordinator for the Seahawks. He was a linebacker coach with the Bucks. So,
you got to see what it is. The Chargers ain't hiring that man to put up no lockdown defense. They just got to, just put a little something together. They got good pieces.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these wide receivers dropping all the way down here, man. My goodness.
They the wide receivers in this year's
right.
draft, they're not nothing special.
Yeah, they are.
I had a feeling that
they're really not.
I think Ridley's a second round guy.
People like counting Ridley going top 10, and I'm like, where do they see a top 10 receiver at? It's Ridley. I'm like, I like to, but he's not. To me, it's like he's not. He ain't no standout or nothing, and it's like, he's had limited. He's had limited experience in college.
Well, here's why.
Because he's almost 24 years old. So
these cats that go out there and they do these mocks, they say this stuff, and they're like, "Hey, look, my team needs a receiver. Who's the best receiver? Oh, he probably is." But if you really listen to him. Listen to the guys that, like Bucky Brooks. He's saying Ridley is really the only option out there at wide receiver. I think, or Calvin Ridley, rather, is the only option really out there at wide receiver. DJ Moore, I didn't see anything out of DJ Moore that I felt was first round grade all season. Maybe he is. I don't know. I didn't see it. I watched quite a bit of Big Ten football and didn't seem like a first round guy to me. Ridley did seem like the only guy, and I would say end of the first round, most likely top of the second round guy. I don't know. I don't think this is the year for the wide receiver for the first round. I mean, there's plenty of guys in this draft that are plenty talented on day 2 and 3 that I wouldn't overplay my hand on Ridley in the first round. I think, you can get Darius Fontaine probably in the 5th, 6th, 7th round or UDA. So they swap.
Packers might go wide receiver at 18.
No.
That might be why they moved up.
No, I think that. Take a look here. No, they're not going to move up for a wide receiver.
What do you think? You think they moved up for Lamar Jackson?
No. No.
Okay, so who they moved up for? They moved up for somebody.
Maybe Josh Jackson.
Okay, let's see.
Maybe an offensive lineman.
Okay, so they moved up. They moved up from cornerback from Louisville.
Jair Alexander.
Yeah, I ain't never heard of this dude.
Remember, he made a big splash in the combine. I think he ran like a 4.3.
Yeah,
okay,
he's out of Louisville.
He moved up a lot of drafts really quick. Now, Jackson gonna go, man. What if the Cowboys draft Lamar Jackson? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, that'd be a good pickup.
You guys think they're completely sold on Dak now?
Yeah, cornerback.
They shouldn't be.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't think they should either.
You talking about Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
No, if I was the Cowboys at the end of the first round, and there was a quarterback there that looked like, it would work. I would take him. Now, I have some reserve with Lamar Jackson. I don't know if he translates well to the NFL and if there's longevity there. I think he could have some splash years. And again, I'm just going based on pretty much every quarterback that's been kind of like him before. He's a better passer than Vic, that's for sure. He's an athlete. He's a tremendous threat. But I don't know if he's something that... just look at Teddy Bridgewater, man. Really, really looked like he was great. Now there's injury. And I know a lot of teams have been turned off by him not having a representative, professional representative, that is. So there's been some issues with scheduling meetings, missing meetings with teams. It's been like the logistics have been a nightmare. But some of that stuff happens when you don't have somebody that's, normally does that for a living. But I get where he's coming from. I mean, sometimes you sit and wonder, does the agent work for you or do they work for the team? I've seen some really shitty agents, What do the Cowboys do here?
But Dallas, another team that don't know who they're gonna draft. They drafted 19.
Christian Kirk is probably the best wide receiver in this draft class.
Now Dallas, I don't know. They got a couple of choices to make, man. They got wide receiver. They got an open wide receiver slot now. I don't know. It's weird, like how one season, this went from a team that was a possible Super Bowl team, with a lot of promise, to now, folks are kind of uncertain about them and which direction they're heading. One season.
Yeah. I told people they should have took advantage of that one season because I knew that wasn't gonna last long for them.
Yeah, that was their time to strike. Yeah.
Yeah. What's draft? Well, yeah, I don't know. They don't draft a wide receiver. They're gonna do some crazy shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Their offensive line, which at one point looked impenetrable. I don't know. It was looking kind of wobbly this past season. I don't. Who knows? I mean, you got to wonder. Is La'el Collins going to be the guy? What kind of guy he's going to be? Question marks in Dallas now. You don't want to waste having a guy like Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
If you don't have any threat of a passing game, you're going to let teams put 8 or 9 in the box every time. So
listen, I said it. Romo actually said it on a broadcast. Listen, Dak Prescott is the reason that Dez Bryant isn't there. Dez Bryant isn't doing anything different right now in his career than he was doing earlier in his career. The difference was the quarterback. And even though,
like I said, we got to look at that on all ends because Dez Bryant, early in his career,
90 seconds.
People kind of over exaggerate. He wasn't Moss. He had a couple of he had I think he had like 9 or 10 touchdowns, which I like to have. I like to have a wide receiver to get, but he was never. I mean, to me, he was never in the same class. Except for that 1 year. I mean, I'm talking about early in his career. He was never like a Julio or a
because he's not a separation guy. He is not. See, that thing is like people want him to be a separation guy. They
60
think
seconds.
Your elite wide receiver has to be a separation guy. Dez Bryant is actually a better guy, I think, to be in the slot for you because he's that guy that will can go. He's a go up and get it guy. So you either need to have somebody that has speed and separation opposite from him for him to be on the outside, or you utilize him, over the middle where you can throw it a little high and take advantage of him like a better, almost like they would with Witten, with Jason Witten. So basically, the throws that Dez should be getting are going to Witten, and that's kind of was one of his. From what I've understood, one of his gripes is where he understood the team was supposed to be about him and building his career up, but it seemed to just, how do we keep Witten going? And that's
Well, also, like you said too, it has to adapt because
Dallas did have a couple of guys out there who can get out there and stretch the field, but Dak got to be able to get them ball. You know, they got Terrence Williams out there, and they got Bryce Butler out there, and those are both, you know, guys who are 6'2", 6'3", taller, and they're both fairly fast. You know, so you got, you know, like I say, it's a combination of both. Like I say, Dez was always been kind of underwhelming, and you know, and Dak, you know, is Dak. You know, he has a limited game, but he looks a lot better when Ezekiel Elliott's rushing for 150 yards. You know,
what if they go like Sony Michel?
I don't know. That's kind of high to me. That's high.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think you can get, you know, I mean, Michelle, like I said, he might slide, you know, I think I had him like the last pick of the first. I think he might slide into the second. And it's not, you know, like I said, this is a team that got needs. So, you know, that's not, you know, that's not really a need, you know.
Yeah, I think Kirk is probably the best wide receiver in this draft. He's available. Every wide receiver is available at this point.
And they could go a boy from Alabama or Rashad Evans, you know, linebacker. He's a possibility.
That's right. He is still on the board. They are thin at that linebacker position. League only has so many years left, and he's injured like 4 games every year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Did they get 10 minutes to make a pick?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, all this stuff with these high school kids, like, come on, man.
The pick is... The time ran out. Shouldn't they have lost the pick by now? I'm just saying.
Okay, so they went linebacker.
Bro, they couldn't have brought them out at like 2 minutes to go.
Okay. So that's the next. That's he the replacement for Lee. So I already know Lee on his way out then.
Yeah, that's what it looks to be. Well, because Lee's not. Well, he didn't have many legs left. I mean, he is hurt like 3 or 4 games every year if he plays the season. But you know, he seems to just hang around. He's always there, despite that. So, and you know, this is a guy. This kid, he's a standout from Boise State. He's more of an outside linebacker from what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of people really thinking that maybe he was the pick for the Patriots. They're at 31. I've seen a lot of people pencil him in at 31 to add some dynamics to that defense. But quality pick. I don't know if they're. I'm gonna be interested to see how they utilize him. Where are they gonna play him? I just feel like they have players like him already, or similar skill sets as him. So it'll be interesting to see what Dallas does with him. Oh, those are Boise State fans. I'm like, Dallas fans. I wouldn't see how Dallas fans would be so excited right now. I think a lot of people are sitting here right now looking at Dallas's pick like, who is this guy? I've never heard of him in my life. Yeah. So yeah, he's another one of those guys. Like I said, I kind of see him more as an outside backer, and I know teams have kind of looked at him more as that. I don't. I think he's. Yeah. He's.
Yeah, he's Vander. I don't know actually how you say his name. Vander Esch.
Yeah.
He's a big player.
He's
You know,
a big
6'4", almost 260.
Yeah.
That's a big middle linebacker.
Yeah. Like I said, outside
That's approaching
linebacker.
LeVon Kirkland size down there.
You know. No, LeVon Kirkland. What are you talking about? He was like 3-something.
Huh?
LeVon was like 3-something at one point.
Well, he was listed, I think, 210, but yeah, he was right about 3-something.
Yeah. Yeah. And he will likely join the show Tuesday. So, interested to get his take on the draft. Yeah. That's a good point Mayock's making. That's kind of where I was getting at if Dallas would go something like Sony Michel, because to that the point he was making is, you know, wideout isn't such a targeted position specifically because now you have tight ends that'll do that and you have running backs that'll do that. So the skill set's diminished. And I mean, why are you going to go with a guy that's 5'9" just because he runs a 4.4 or 4.5? If I can get a guy that runs a 4.6 and he's, you know, 7 inches taller than you and can catch, I don't know, or a guy that's your height and he can also, you know, truck somebody and I can hand the ball out the backfield or catch him out in the flat. Like, why am I taking the guy that's a $175, $180 over, you know, a running back? So it's kind of, I get it. All right, the Lions pick is in. I'm expecting them to either go defense or an offensive lineman. I think we could see, if they go offensive lineman, this could be Will Hernandez right here. Or something along the defensive line. I think you had the kid from Boston College, right? Harold Landry.
Hey, Matt, I'm about to have to drop off, man. I have an appointment with Thanos and Infinity right now.
All right.
I see you. I am about to, and I'm going to put spoilers everywhere. But all right, y'all. Thanks a lot. You have a good one. I'll be catching you later. All right, easy.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so this is where, see, Sean, what they're talking about right now. Dallas has been missing out on linebacker Sean Lee. All right. Detroit has their pick in. The thing is despite what they do here at this pick, I don't know.
So who Detroit pick, a center?
I don't know. It hasn't came up from my end yet.
Okay. Yeah, Frank Ragnow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Ragnow, he's one of those. A lot of guys have seen him as the top center in the draft. he can also play guard too. He's tall, but he's been really successful in college. His numbers have been really good. He's always blocked pretty well. I don't think he doesn't give up much as far as pressures or anything like that. So he's been, for most part, pretty high on a lot of teams' draft boards. Again, he can also play the guard position as well. So he can convert over to guard. So that the versatility, obviously, that's more of a value pick there, more than anything else. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Detroit probably does something along as an offensive lineman or a defensive player. They always seem to kind of stack up on defensive players. The Bengals are on the board. I see them probably going defense as well. Just trying to.
The Eagles need to go quarterback.
Quarterback?
Yep.
Half the league probably needs a quarterback. I mean, out of the quarter. I mean, what do you think? What do you think Lamar Jackson would bring to Cincinnati? Because he's, out of the guys that have had first round grades, he's the one that's left on the board. What do you see him? How do you see him as far as translating to a team like Cincy?
He's a project player. He's at least, to me, he's a 2-year stash.
And you notice, like, Mason Rudolph, Luke Falk, Mike White, they really haven't really heard much out of them in the past couple weeks. They could. I don't know. If they go quarterback, it's probably going to be in the second or third round. I don't think they'd go quarterback here. Kyle Lauletta. I think a lot of teams like Kyle Lauletta. I think the Patriots like Kyle Lauletta, but not a first-round quarterback.
Let me see. Okay, the pick is in. This is my last one. I got to get up out of here.
All right.
Let's see who they got. They got another center. Okay. Never heard of the guy, but good for him.
We're talking about where could Lamar Jackson potentially land in this draft. The Bengals, the Ravens, the Saints we thought were doing it, they didn't do it, and the Patriots. So we're ready to come up on one of these teams right here. Well, which one do you think will look like? From Lamar Jackson? Yeah. I just think that New England and Bill Belichick are
so 21st overall pick, like you were saying, the Bengals select Billy Price from Ohio State. I don't know. I thought Billy Price was more of a second round guy. He he's a good pile mover. He's tall, he's long, he's big. So again, it's not a bad pick. But when you're seeing these offensive linemen like this going towards the end of the first round, that's telling you that really the players that they see left in front of them are not first-round talent to them. We haven't seen a wide receiver go yet, and we may not. So the Bengals move, or the Ravens move back there to 22. They're on the clock now. And, you know, the Ravens are in a situation. I don't think they can really miss on many picks. They kind of limped into the situation that they were in. There's a lot to be desired with what they had. Again, they were at 16, and then they moved back to 22. So they're just ahead of the Patriots. Again, remember the Patriots have traded to get into the draft. And now the Baltimore Ravens trade their pick to the Tennessee Titans, who was just a couple spots back. So the Titans move up. They got 550. And the Titans pick is in. I see Titans probably going defensive player on this pick. The messages here. No, it's not quarterback. Titans? People ask silly questions here. I know Mike had Rasheem Green, defensive end out of Southern Cal, as on his mock of who would be the pick there. Again, the Titans are in a situation, defensive end, a pass rusher would be really helpful for them, or a dynamic linebacker as well, another dynamic linebacker. I don't know if that's available for them. I know Josh Jackson is there at corner. As well as Mike Hughes from Central Florida.
To allow Arizona to move up and acquire Josh Rosen. They took that pick from Arizona and handed it to Pittsburgh for Martavis Bryant to now run routes for John.
So, just wait on the pick. Some. So, okay, to break this down a little bit more. So, the Ravens send the 22nd overall pick and the 6th round, which is the 215th overall pick, to Tennessee in return to the 25th overall pick and a 4th rounder.
First round edge guy in this draft, and that's Harold Landry from Boston College. Keep in mind, their two edge guys are...
Harold Landry, yeah. Mike actually had him going to Detroit. Very, very much could be a pick here. They have went offensive line last couple of years. Rashawn Evans from Alabama. So that's what I was saying. So a dynamic linebacker. So he's still there. He was still there, available. See, he's a good player. He had some injury issues his time at Alabama. Also had some talent there ahead of him. He did have, I think, 13 tackles for loss, which, if I remember from my guide from the national championship game, I think it was team leading, 13 tackles for loss, over 100 tackles. Really balled out this year. He was one of those guys that was pretty pivotal for him. But again, it's kind of how's it going to hold up? Again, it's a lot of what, as far as his career, he's again struggled with some injuries and has had to wait behind some other talent as well. All right, we're on the 23rd pick. The Patriots' first pick of the first round. And their pick is in. Now, I like seeing what they did here. ESPN. I'm trying to pull up. Maybe a little quicker. So, the Patriots, I don't know. I could see them go pass rusher here. Listen, I was surprised by a pick of Mayfield going number 1 overall. But I don't know. I don't know. The questions have been there with Lamar Jackson, and with Lamar Jackson, again, his mom represented him as his agent. It's gonna be tricky. But I think a pass rusher is probably one of the most advantageous, and even especially a guy like Harold Landry right there out of Boston College. Could be that pick. Excuse me, it's been a long day. So, a couple weeks ago, obviously there wasn't a show because I had a baby. My wife had the baby. But it's mine. So, and I help a lot. I'm very active as a father. So, I do bottles, usually right now. Would be one on most nights. And then I do one at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I do another one at 6. So, if I sound like I'm tired, oh, I am. Definitely tired. Duty calls, though. Duty calls. So, the pick is in for the Patriots. I think probably Landry will be it's going to be a good fit for them. And again, so many teams. Lamar Jackson still sitting there. I'm not going to be surprised if he falls out of the first round. We'll see. There's still 9 picks left. I said the Patriots pick is in. We'll see. See what they got here. Yes. Well, no. Okay, so I see a few people asking here about stuff I've been writing and covering. So the guys that I'm covering are guys that I think make a 53-man roster but aren't getting love on today. The first round of the draft. They haven't been getting the publicity throughout the last 3-4 months. So that's who. That's where my focus has been. And if the Patriots ever come out, if it's ever delivered, I'll give you their pick. All right, so 23rd overall pick to the Patriots is Isaiah Wynn, offensive lineman from Georgia. He's a good fit, good player. Might be a guy they could have got in the second round, but I see, again, from what I've seen of him, he's a left tackle in the NFL. I know he can play guard too, but he's a quality pick there at for the Patriots. A very Patriot thing to do. Go 23, offensive lineman. They're pretty. They're pretty good at. They're pretty good at drafting offensive linemen. In the first 3 rounds every single year. Pretty consistent doing that. Now the Carolina Panthers. They need. They could use an offensive lineman. I'm surprised that Will Hernandez is still there. I don't think Will Hernandez falls out of the first round. Now, Carolina, on the other hand, has pretty much went linebacker, pass rusher, linebacker, defensive front, or wide receiver. Carolina could go wide receiver here. I don't know if some teams expected everybody still available at this point. But could be their move there. But again, offensive line be another solid selection for them. Also, they could go cornerback as well to shore up a cornerback position. So we'll see once they get back from break. Is there pick in? So it's kind of recapping here. And Buffalo may be the biggest winners here of today so far. Getting probably the best linebacker in the draft. And who I had going first overall. And I think the most and a good fit for the Bills at quarterback in Josh Allen. All right, move that over here a little closer. All right, thanks. I didn't have that. I don't do a 7-round. I just answer some of the questions here. I don't do a 7-round mock. Really, for me, I'm not really big on myself doing mocks, putting out mocks. I do my own when I'm looking at kind of where teams might pick. I put together a big board. And again, I just looking at what Carolina has, because their pick is in. I don't think they expected all wide receivers to be available, but I think that could be where they go here at this point. Christian Kirk is probably the best wide receiver in this draft. But again, Calvin Ridley is there, and the commissioner's coming to the podium. The Carolina Panthers select DJ Moore. Wide receiver. First one off the board. All right, so I'll go to the message board here. So, no, I don't think. The question is, do you think that the Patriots are off getting a quarterback in this draft? Now, I'm fairly certain they will draft a quarterback in this draft. I think Kyle Lauletta is probably Mike White, or Tanner Lee is probably their top 3 targets for the position. But again, they're later round guys. I just think people want to see they want to see Lamar Jackson go in the first round. I think the first place that we're going to see Lamar Jackson going in the first round would be to Minnesota 30. All right, 25th overall pick. Sorry, the Panthers got some decent pieces now. McCaffrey, they picked up Torrey Smith. They just drafted DJ Moore. They got Greg Olsen. Cam has some weapons there. I'm sure that they will acquire at least another one during this draft tonight. Baltimore's up next at 25. Baltimore's, like I said, they can't really go wrong with where that they draft that, you know. Flacco's their guy because they've paid him. Not a lot of other options. But, just about every other position on the team they could go with an upgrade. But I think what they're trying to do is fill more positions than not by trading back and acquiring more picks. I think this draft is seen as probably being most competitive in the second and third rounds of the draft. So day 2. I think a lot of people are wanting to move back to procure second round picks rather than first, because you can get more value in the second round. I think that's why last 6 picks, with half of them are offensive linemen. So it's going to be Is that what? Yeah. So we're so close to... the Ravens did pick up John Brown and Michael Crabtree. They got RG3, Willie Snead. You know, again, it's not that they didn't make some additions through free agency. I just don't see that anything that was super significant. And they lost Jeremy Macklin. They lost Danny Woodhead. Maybe corner. This could be Josh Jackson or Mike Hughes. All right, Baltimore's pick is in, and if they don't trade again, they will come up with a player. Harold Landry's still available. Like I said, Josh Jackson's still available. All right, here's the commissioner. #25th pick, Baltimore Ravens. Caden Hurst, tight end, South Carolina. From Jacksonville, Florida. Get probably. Could be the best. Could be the best tight end in this draft. The funny thing, funny story about him. Not funny, kind of sad. So he actually was a pitcher, a Major League Baseball pitcher. So he gets up. He was with the Pirates. And then just, they call get the yips. So, performed at a high level until he was in a situation, and then his body just couldn't perform. That's something that you can be fixed through therapy. But it's something. It's very, very much something you very much can overcome. So, all right, we got about 5 minutes left in the show. All right, we're not. That's it. Okay. Well, my producer's telling me that is it, actually, for the show this evening. I'm cutting out 7 picks short, so we will be sure to get back with you, so stay tuned. We'll have some recap of tonight's action of the NFL draft on Tuesday, along with on the website. So, but that's all we have for you tonight here on the Cold Hard Truth on Sports NFL Draft Edition. And we'll catch you on Tuesday. So stay tuned on social media. We'll have more for you there. But I'm out for tonight. Peace.
Welcome to the Cold Hard Truth on Sports. I apologize in advance if I am out of line here.
Brace yourselves, boys. We're going in.
Am I hallucinating here?